All right, and it's round two, ladies and gentlemen. Take two. Um, Welcome to another episode of Evil Live. I'm your host, the Evil Tyrone. I've got some very, very, very special guests in the building tonight. Our topic is the top seven horror moments for children. We're going to get deep into it. I got some very, very, very special guests in the building who have been very patient. Because for some reason I forgot to hit the live button. Uh Apologies to whatever I was smoking 3 hours ago. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it popping. So I'm gonna invite I'm gonna bring up, the guests one by one once more. Trent, how you feeling tonight, buddy?
Hey, hey, so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm excited for the second time.
Yes. Trent is, one half of Nightmare on Fear Street. He's an amazing guy. If you have not checked out our interview on Evil Live, this channel, check him out. He's just awesome. He's just awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight, Trent. Thank you for
Glad to be
joining us.
here.
Yes, yes. We got the Queen, Sharai. Sharai, thank you for joining us. Round two, Sharai.
Thank
Thank
you for having me again.
you.
Hi, Tyrone.
Yes, yes. Sharai is one third of Blurty Massacre. She's also the other half of Nightmare on Fear Street. Among some other amazing podcasts. You can check her out this Sunday, actually, for the season finale of Slasher. Which should be breaking that down.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out who the widow is, and we're gonna say she deserved what she did. Like I don't feel bad for nobody. She gave us art. Look,
Yes, yes. Love it, love it. Thank you for stopping by, Sharai. Thank you for stopping by. We also have Kem Bones in the house, Auntie Spooky in the house. Thank you for stopping by, Auntie Spooky. If you have not checked out my interview with Auntie Spooky, it's an amazing interview, which also inspired this actual conversation today. So, thank you for stopping by. How are you doing
And
tonight?
I'm doing great. That's what we're here for.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you again. Thank you. We also got Michael Anthony in the building tonight. Once again, Michael, thank you for
What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Deja vu.
one host of People Under the Scare, one half of People Under the Scares, one fourth of Scream Kings. Michael, he's a great guy. Always a great time when we get to chat about this genre, man. Always a great time. Thank you for stopping by.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. And last but not least, my brother, my Philly brother, Bobby Torrez in the building. How you feeling tonight, Bobby? Oh yeah, your volume, Bobby. Uh,
I'm
oh,
so
you're
happy to be here.
oh yeah,
Yes.
yes,
What's up, my
yes.
friend?
Oh yeah, you're the only one who I didn't get to. I had to start over, Bobby. My bad.
Like Mike said, deja vu. We know that feeling all too well.
Oh yeah. Bobby is, one fourth for the Scream Kings as well, and the other half of People Under the Scares, an amazing podcast. I actually was just on there not too long ago, uh, have given my review of Evil Dead Rise,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun, and we got to chop it up, and we just took it there. We just took it there. So
It went there, Degrassi.
yeah, whatever it takes, whatever
Whatever
it
it takes.
takes. Yes, yes. Thank y'all for stopping by. Thank y'all for stopping by. So we got Cray Dre. Thank you for stopping by, Dre. Jaleesa, thank you for stopping by. We got Alex Mosley. Thank you for stopping by. He went live and wasn't even live. It happens. It definitely happens. uh we got Claudia Fuller. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. We also got a Rainbow Fright. Glad I got to watch the start of this. About to leave, go see Hypnotic. Yes, yes. I think I heard about that movie. Yes, thank you for stopping by, Rainbow. Definitely. I actually gotta get Rainbow on one of these discussions relatively soon. Relatively soon. So we're gonna get everybody loaded up. Load them up. Load them up. So, how's everybody feeling tonight?
Feeling good.
Lovely.
Yes,
Feeling
yes,
great.
yes. Thank y'all for joining. Of course, I always like to start these discussions off with a couple questions, with a couple questions, just like some icebreakers to get us flowing, get the creative juices, flowing. So my first question, to the panel would be, do you think children should suffer in horror? For me, I'm gonna say it's a strong yes. I'm gonna
Yes.
say it's a strong yes
I knew
because
Sheree was gonna say that.
I feel
Yes. No, fuck them kids. If you want them in the horror movie, they got to be able to catch it too.
I agree with that.
yeah,
Same.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Okay. What about you, Michael?
I think that's the only option. I don't like kids being in horror movies and nothing happening to them, and I especially don't like it when they get other people killed. So I think they should be at risk just like everybody else.
Okay, this
And they
might
got
be.
little legs; they shouldn't be surviving anyway.
What about you, Kim? What do you think?
Oh, 100%. What are they there for if they're not ready to go down?
There we go. There we go. So it's by unanimous decision. It's fuck them kids by unanimous decision. So that might be the hashtag of this episode tonight. Fuck them kids. Now, my next question would be, um, would you rather fight a clown in the dark, or would you rather fight a mummy in the dark?
Mummy, I ain't fucking with the clowns. Listen, I was just watching Are You Afraid of the Dark recently, the Zebo episode, the clown.
Yes.
That shit is still scary. So I ain't fucking with clowns. Pennywise, no clown. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'll take a mummy.
I
Okay.
agree. I'm gonna go mummy because they're just gonna be dusty. You just
Right.
knock them around a little bit and sweep
Yeah,
them
pull them by
up.
the rats.
Well, but you're talking about like depending on the type of mummy though, because
That's
it could
fair.
be like a Are You Afraid of the Dark mummy, or it could be a Tom Cruise mummy.
That move, no.
Oh,
I mean, I didn't see the movie. I only saw the previews, because it just didn't feel like something that my energy needed to,
You
go
made the
toward.
correct choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Kim? What would be your answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go mummy. I don't do clowns in the dark.
Okay.
wow, y'all look. I'm gonna go clown because I feel like I can hear it. At least the mummy, I don't know where it's gonna be at.
Okay.
I'll be more scared with the clown, but I at least know where it's at.
Logical.
My
Wow.
other thing is the mummies died before, so has nothing left to lose. That
Very-
clown, this could be a first death.
Could be. Could.
Very true. I never thought about that. Wow. Okay. Coming through, Sharai, coming through. We got Dahlia. Thank you for stopping by. Mummy, they move
Dahlia's with
slower.
me.
I like that. Well, I was gonna pick clown, because I feel like I'd rather see that in the dark than a mummy, but who well, I think I'm outvoted right now. I think there's more for the
How you
mummy.
gonna switch sides? Because
Right?
you just say-
You're gonna leave me and Mike fighting these clowns by ourselves? That's how this is.
Now my
I just had an image of y'all fighting clowns literally in my head. It's hilarious.
That could be us on any given Saturday if we in the same town now. Like, let's.
yeah, actually,
Facts. Yeah.
an escape room. That's an escape room idea. Escape the clowns. Escape the clowns.
No, I would lose that.
Now, this next question, who would you trust in this scenario? Would you trust an old woman at night when it's like, why y'all already shaking your heads?
I've seen Lynn Shay. You can't trust her in any movies.
Or even Pearl and X. You see what she tried to do in that bed?
Mm.
Mm-mm. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Now it's foggy outside. It's late night. You're walking home. You missed the bus, so you gotta walk an extra 2 blocks down. And the woman, she's got a bag of candy. She's like, "Hello, hello.
No.
I've got a bag of candy for you. Hello." And that's one option. That's one option. And the second option for who would you trust is the lunch lady who only smiles at you. You know, she only smiles at you. So,
Tyrone, how do you come up with this?
Can I say neither?
I'm gonna choose the lunch lady because I can bring my own lunch. But like, once that old lady gets you, that old lady got you.
Yes.
See, I agree with Sharai. I grew up in the 90s and I was taught not to take candy from strangers.
Yep.
And old ladies at night, no. The lunch lady, we might have like, she might be cool with me. I don't know. There's more chances of good things happening with a lunch lady than there is with an old lady with candy.
Extra peas.
What about you, Michael? What would you pick?
So I wouldn't have had an option. I wasn't getting enough of an allowance to not eat at school, so I'm gonna go with the old lady. I can outrun her easily, so I'm not worried about that. And it's 2 blocks to the next stop. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the old lady at night.
Okay, okay. I respect it.
I
What
don't
about
don't
you?
fuck with my food. I don't like that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, at least with the old lady, like I get some sort of comfort, even though like older people like creep me out a little bit, because of Are You Afraid of the Dark? But I feel like, she's gonna she has less of a chance to do something to me versus the lunch lady who's always smiling at me. Like, what is you smiling at me for? Like, did you put something? Do you know about my gluten sensitivity? Do you know about like my dietary restrictions? Like, what are you smiling at me for? Do you think I'm cute? Like, it's a lot of different ways that can go when the lunch lady is only smiling at you. And in this scenario, because I pictured like we're in the Goosebumps universe and the lady's only smiling at you. So yeah, very creepy. So what would you pick, Bobby?
The lunch lady. I ain't messing with no old lady out in the middle of the night shaking bags of candy. She can turn into the lady from Drag Me to Hell right away and attack my ass, and I don't got time. So me and the lunch lady could be here. She's probably smiling at me because she gave me extra sugar in my beans or gave me whatever. And it is what it is. We may be here. That might be my homegirl. So I'll pick the lunch lady.
But then what if the lunch lady is the one from Drag Me to Hell? And she just taking all the kids with her.
She'll be fighting the whole lunch. She'll be fighting the whole lunchroom.
Okay, so what about the potential that the lunch lady is the thing from Smile, and she smiles at you because you about to be the next victim?
Or It Follows.
Well,
I mean, It Follows is a different story because if you don't sleep
the
with
lunch lady already.
Nah, if you sleep with a lunch lady, you got other problems, and you need to unpack a lot of things. So like.
Yo.
Now, what about you, Kim? Which one would you pick?
I was going for lunch lady till you said that she'll smile at me like smile. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm still gonna go with her, but I'm just gonna not have lunch. I'm just gonna bring my own lunch. That's terrifying.
Adding the smile movie to that, because that's not just a smile. That's a grimace. That's like
That's
a
like
Yeah.
it's over for you. No, no.
Yes, yes. Well, thank y'all for answering, my questions, entertaining the foolishness. We got how bizarre pictures. Lunch lady got the tools though. Facts. She do got, she can, and if something pop off, the lunch lady know
So
where,
you don't really know what's in that old lady's bag of candy. I'm just saying.
That's true.
True.
Every time we talk about her old bag of candy, I have to stop myself from falling the fuck out. Just so we're all clear.
I just because it ain't no like Skittles or nothing. It's
What
like
is
that.
that?
But what
that
if it is?
Them Werthers from 3 years ago.
It's that
No,
peanut
it's
candy
that.
that all the
The way
old
I
ladies
picture
like
it,
to
she's
eat.
like, "Hey, hello, I've got a bag of candy, and it's the strawberry. It's the strawberry candy.
Oh,
Yes, I remember those.
and it yeah, and it ain't even the Werthers. It's the butterscotch disc. And you done destroyed half the damn candy, taking it off because it's already melted. Glued to the glued to the actual candy. The plastic is already glued to the actual candy, and what's the other one? Peanut chews. She got a bag of peanut chews in there,
I
so
love me some peanut chews though.
controversy.
Hot takes.
Yes. So yes, this is an exciting topic for me tonight because like children's horror, like certain elements in that are what like sparked my interest into horror, nowadays. Like of course we've all had like our first like real horror movies that we saw or whatever, but it was always cool when you cut on a cartoon or something and they would add some sort of horror element or a television show and they would go there. You'd just be creeped the hell out, like watching a commercial from Are You Afraid of the Dark, and they're just like, you know there's nothing in the dark that wasn't there in the light, or is there? And I'm a kid, I'm like, well shit, or is there something else in the dark that wasn't there in the light, and they're like, find out on Snick, Saturday.
Yes, Nick. Oh,
That good old orange couch, good old
yes.
orange couch, so yes, we definitely gonna get into it. So we gonna kick it off with our list. I'm gonna go with Bobby, what's your number
Oh,
7 on the list, man? Or if if we going out of order, but what's your first pick?
yeah. This is no particular order, but I tend to go the easy route this time around. So I went with Carly Beth in Goosebumps: The Haunted Mask. She was a little out of pocket when she got that mask on her face, scaring them children. I laugh every time she's walking around with that little staff, scaring the children, and she even cursed that white lady out at the door when she was scaring her children. Classic. Um, but yes, I love that just because that episode was really scary to me. I remember watching that; it was like a late night showing of that particular one. They did that for Werewolf of Fever Swamp as well, but for that one, it was also 8 o'clock at night. And I remember going home watching it and getting spooked out by it because it's pretty freaky. You know what I mean? Especially for a kid watching it. So yes, I go with Carly Beth in the Hunter Mask situation. Nothing's more terrifying putting the mask on your face and it's getting stuck to your face and molded and it's not coming the fuck off. And you're slowly transforming into something else at that.
Damn, that, like you mentioned in that episode, because I do remember that episode, classic, but it takes me back to that episode of the Twilight Zone where they're all the rich guy, all of his family members are sitting around waiting for him to die or whatever, and he's like, oh well, put these masks on to get your inheritance, and you got to wear them until like the clock strikes midnight, and next thing you know, they stuck with the mask on their face, and it just made me wonder, like, if we all were wearing masks in here, what would the masks look like? What would they look like if there were an interpretation of what we are truly inside. Like, what would the mask look like? That'd be wild.
I love that.
Yes, yes. Twilight Zone, classic,
Mm,
classic.
yes.
You know. Now, what about you, Kim? What's first on your list?
I'm gonna go with so many. Do you know what the Nightmare Room is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's this episode with Shia LaBeouf, and he had this toy that he really liked, and he threw it. Well, he outgrew it, and the toy was named Buddy, and it was played by the little Sprouse twins. Them children was creepy. I don't know what.
Yeah.
And he was like, showed up at his school, and he was like, "I'm your buddy to the end." Shout out to Chucky. Hold on. Shut up, Chucky.
Oh,
But that's kind of the whole point, is that like you outgrow your your toys. And like I remember watching that and being like, okay, even if I do get rid of my babies, I gotta let them know like we had our time. I hope you make it to another home. It's okay. You still my best friend. Like just in case they want to come back. And you know the good thing about it is that at the end, he didn't even like he didn't survive it. He turned into a doll. Like they weren't scared to, like, oh, this ain't no happy ending. Like homie's dead essentially. But yeah, let's go that one.
Damn. You know what? I gotta find where Nightmare Room is streaming, because they had some classic episodes. Like I was thinking of another one, but I don't want to throw it out in case it's on somebody's list. But it's so many classics from the Nightmare Room. Yes. We got Ashley Anderson in the building. Thank you for stopping by. Jaquan, thank you for stopping by. We also got Alma Clark. Yes, shout out to Chucky. Yes, shout out to the Chucky doll in the background on deck. And that's Chucky, not Buddy. That's Chucky, just to get it right. Get it. Yes. Getting it right. Now, what about you, Trent? What would be your first one?
Okay, yeah, mine are in no particular order either. A lot of mine actually ended up being like dark fantasy stuff, which was my thing as a kid. I'm gonna start with The Return to Oz. That is something I watched all the time as a kid. I love The Wizard of Oz in the first place, but like The Return to Oz is so dark. I still remember watching it when Ozma, and she's in that hall, and the heads are and it's her head. She can take it off and put it on. So creepy, but like perfection.
Yes, it's nothing like creepier than fantasy when it's done right. Like like Oz settings, or like even a Alice in Wonderland. Just creepy settings. Like I love it, like that dark fantasy feel.
And it's an early. I can't ever pronounce her name. Feruza.
Oh, Nancy.
Yeah,
that's her name.
That's her name. We bind you, Nancy. But yeah, a young Nancy.
Yes, I love it. Now, what about you, Michael? What would be your first one on the list?
Ooh, okay, let's see. I'm realizing a lot of the kids died in the ones I picked, so okay. I'm gonna go with one of the ones I remember as a kid, The Blob. So there is the friend of Kevin, who is the younger brother of one of the main characters. And I think they sneaked to the movies at one point. They weren't supposed to go. So they're in the theater. And then all of a sudden, this big gelatin bullshit is above them, snatching people up. So they actually get out of the movie theater. They very narrowly escape. And then they have to go into the sewers to escape. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, they're not going to kill a fucking kid in this movie. So all three of them are like wading through the fucking sewer. And they get to a ladder. The little brother, he's up. She tries to get the friend to go up, and he gets snatched into the fucking water by the blob. Her, like a dumbass, she goes diving in the water to try to get him. Can't find him, and then he emerges back up. He's all like melted and shit, trying to reach for more help, and then he gets snatched up again. And that stuck with me for a while. And ever since then, I like seeing kids die in horror movies for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think it's if a kid dies, I'm not feeling safe anymore in the movie. I don't know who else can die.
Damn. That was a good one. That was a good one. The Blob is definitely up there. It's definitely a classic, and that imagery, especially the one in the what was it 1988.
88, I think 88.
Yeah, the imagery was just very on point. Very on point. Love that pick, Mike. Love that pick. And what about you, Sharai? What's your first pick?
I thought of one before I get into my fuck them kids list I accidentally made. We know I'm a fight Timmy Burton someday, but however, Beetlejuice, they really moved Lydia into a haunted house. And then like the ghost was like, no, I'm gonna marry you, like some sort of Victorian bride. And I'm just like, oh no, CPS needs to be called immediately.
Yeah, like that. And now that I think about it, that was a trend. That's like a big trend trope in horror. Like, someone moving in or someone going into a space, a young person, and then some old, person or some deceased, undead, unalive motherfucker just is like, oh, you're my bride. Like I want you forever,
Can you imagine your parents move you somewhere you don't want to be and you got a ghost at your like a window being like, you my bride now, and they ain't paid the rent? I would fight somebody.
The parents, you moved me here. It's y'all fault.
I'm like, marry my mama. Like, I'm a child. This is a Wendy's. What are you doing? Like,
this is a Wendy's. Yes. We got Tamar Kane in the building. Thank you for stopping by, Tamar. Thank you for stopping by. Always a good time. Always a good time. Now my first one on the list, I'm gonna just throw this one out there. I recently watched it. This episode of SpongeBob, in which there are several episodes, of SpongeBob. But this one is entitled Nasty Patty, yes, and this one was when SpongeBob and Squidward are at work and they're about to close up shop, and then Squidward, he notices that there are people outside and they're like, hey, I'll give you money for a Krabby Patty. And he's like, no, we're closed, we're closed. And then Mr. Krabs, he sees the money and he's like, oh, we're open 24 hours now. And I'm like, damn, Mr. Krabs, like you really like it hits me harder now that I'm 34 than it did back when I was younger, So but he opens up the Krusty Krab for 24 hours. And SpongeBob, he's just so hyped that they're open late or whatever. And he's doing a lot. He's doing too much until he finds out that he has to go outside, ladies and gentlemen. He notices that he has to go outside, and he's like, oh, I'm afraid of the dark now, and actually I think I'm talking about the wrong damn SpongeBob episode. Moving on. Get it together, man. All right.
We
I
love
was
it.
so into that. I was like, okay.
Me too.
All right.
I was like, this episode should have been called Capitalism, but here we are.
But in this episode, Nasty Patty, what I was originally referring to, they think a health inspector is coming to check out the place or whatever. So I'm like, oh, we got to get everything shiny and new. And then they find out that over the news, someone's playing something over the news, and they're like, breaking, someone who's pretending to be a health inspector is out there, trying to get free patties, trying to get free burgers. And they're like, oh, fuck this guy. Like, we're gonna just do the most dirtiest thing ever. Like it was like SpongeBob turned into Jackass with that burger, just putting it through the grinder. Like, it looked so disgusting. So they give it to the guy, and they think that they killed him. He starts choking, and they think that they killed the guy. So I'm just like, really? I'm watching like this is SpongeBob. This is on Nickelodeon, and they like SpongeBob is dragging what he thinks is dragging this guy's corpse up the hill, and it's just like it's raining, lightning, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, this should not be for children, but it should be. Like, I feel like if I was a child, this is definitely up my alley, but it definitely gave me that vibe. Like, I won't say like it terrified me, but it definitely like it unsettled me. It definitely was unsettling, especially because did y'all really think that y'all were going to get away with this? Like you and Squidward and Mr. Krabs, somebody snitching. And I feel like it's gonna be Squidward. I feel like Squidward gonna be the one to crack. If it's first 48 in Bikini Bottom, I think Squidward gonna be the first one to fall under pressure. But yeah, it was wild. It was very, very wild. And yes, Talia says Nosferatu episode was a creepy one. Yes, that was the original episode that I was describing. And then I realized, wait, I'm talking about the wrong damn episode, but we're back. We're back. Yes, yeah, we all did. I thought they killed the inspector too. I was like, damn, Nickelodeon, like y'all wasn't killing people back when I was a kid. Like, kids would disappear, but they never died. We never saw them again, but they never died,
It sounds like a Rihanna video. Like, the bitch better have my money specifically. And I need to watch an episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Nasty Patty, ladies and gentlemen. Now, are we going into our next one? Next number round six. So we kick it off with Kim. What's your number 6?
I was trying to figure it out. I'm gonna say Lily D from The Haunted Hour. Like one of R.L. Stein's, but kind of like later in, it's like 2010-ish. She was a brat. She was terrible. She called her friends poor. She was just rude to her homies. And basically, it's like a play off the American Girl dolls. Like, they could get a doll that's made like them. And of course, her family got money. So her friend was like, yeah, I'm gonna get me one too. She said, really? Can you afford that? But anyway, turns out this doll is like evil, want to replace her. So she was trash, but so is her mom. Her mom like basically replaced her with the doll before she could even realize she was haunted. And it took her and her brother for her to end up for him to save her, because turns out she also turned into a doll. I think I got a theme.
Yeah.
I like haunted dolls. But yeah, I mean, I was excited to see her suffer, but also, mother, how dumb are you? How dumb are you? Like,
yeah.
It was a great episode though, and that was The Haunting Hour.
Okay,
So.
I gotta check that. See, The Haunting Hour coming with the heat,
Yeah.
especially a doll wanting to take over, because we've seen dolls too a little bit too much. Shout out to Megan, but when they want to take over and the mom is okay with it, just like, okay, like
she was tucking the doll in for sleep at night, and the daughter's like, in the morning she served the doll breakfast, and daughter's like, "Why I play that? Who are you?"
cold-blooded.
Okay. Yeah,
Cold
it was a good episode.
Yes. Now, what about you, Trent? What would be your number 6?
Okay, so as we've talked about before, I, as a child, had a very huge fear of old people.
Yes.
And my next film is The Watcher in the Woods. Came on Disney Channel all the time as a kid. It is actually Betty Davis's final film role before she passed. Wow. And it has a baby Kyle Richards. And Lynn Holly Johnson, who, if you look her up, you'll recognize her face. I didn't recognize her name when I first saw this either. But yeah, super creepy. It's got all the things I love in horror. The occult, old ladies being like, I don't know what happened back then, and being kind of creepy and mysterious, and like big mansions and out in the middle of nowhere. Highly recommend it. I loved this movie as a child. I still do.
Yes, yes. I think I was watching something not too long ago. They were documenting that, like the importance of that movie, So
Mhm.
I definitely it's definitely due for a rewatch for me.
Betty
Def-
Davis is incredible in it. Like, she plays clearly the old lady in the house that, like, something happened in there in the years past, but she doesn't want to talk about it. But like, ooh, so good.
Oh, listen. Betty Davis is iconic.
Iconic.
Not to be
Legend.
confused with Bette Midler, who I sometimes like mix up their names.
I mean, they're both legends, but like very different.
I mean, because
Is it
I'm
because
just
how they spell
one.
their first name?
I'm
They
just
spell
one
it
of them.
the same.
But
I-
also, like, Betty Davis could do the first Housewives Club. Bette Midler could never do what happened to Baby Jane, ever.
Facts.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know,
Oh.
Sharai. I don't know. I think I could see it. I want to see it
Are you
now.
asking for a remake?
We need a remake. We need a remake.
Yes.
with Bette Midler.
Yes. And she's gonna sing a lot. You know that's gonna happen.
True.
Letters to Daddy.
Yes. I love it. We got Taymon. He said, "Old people still scare me." Yes. Ashley says
Absolutely.
Annabelle is bae. Facts. Mika, welcome, Mika. She says Betty Davis is just iconic. Taymon says she was great in Wicked
Yes.
Stepmother. Yes.
That movie is so camp. I love it. Oh my gosh. I need to check out The Wicked Stepmother. I think that was one of Betty Davis's last roles as well. Like she
Yeah, I'm gonna
served
write
in
that
it.
down.
It's free on YouTube.
Yeah, a lot of shit is free on YouTube. That's how I checked out. Was it Night of the Demons 3? Because it was free on
Yes.
YouTube. But it's in parts. You gotta take what you can get on
Yep.
YouTube.
Mhm.
You'd be like
Yeah.
part 1, part 2, part
Part 2.
3.
Yep.
That just means you can take a break and fill up your beverage.
Yes. Facts. Mika, Tyrone, now you mixing up the bets. Yeah. Yeah. So it happens. I'm gonna say my number 6 is going to be anytime that Mark Hamill showed up on Batman the Animated Series as the Joker, and he started spraying that gas, and the motherfuckers just started like rigor mortis with them smiles. I'm like, who drew this? Like, why are you trying to traumatize me right now? It's just every time I would see it, I would get so fearful, so scared, and which I'm like low key upset because every time we see the Joker, like in live action, they never really seem to get to that part. Like I think we got a little taste of it with Jack Nicholson, but like a tiny bit. But other than that, I'm like, with all the prosthetics and makeup y'all could do, y'all can't put that on the screen because that would invigorate the Batman for me. That would get although I do love Twilight Batman. I do love Twilight, the latest Batman, but I think that we need some rigor mortis Joker gas in effect,
Bring it back.
Yes. I'm campaigning. What about you, Sharai? What's your number 6?
So here's where we find out my childhood was different. Because when I was a kid, I was watching Pumpkinhead. And that little boy, first off, growing up in a dusty small town, having to go to work instead of school with his daddy. And while he's working this shift, he's definitely not old enough to be working. Some out-of-pocket teenagers show up and mow him down with a motorcycle in broad daylight and leave his ass. Yeah.
And that's disrespectful because mowing somebody down with a motorcycle, you're liable to kill yourself. You know, like
Listen,
it's not like you in a car and you survive, but you liable to kill yourself hitting somebody with a motorcycle.
right? They
Yeah.
literally hit that little boy after insulting him for like 5 minutes and was like, "Ah, no, I've already got DUIs. We gotta leave." And I was like, "Justice for Timmy, justice for Timmy." Look, and that's why I'm happy Pumpkinhead cleared them. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you for showing Pumpkinhead some love. You know, my grandmother, she's the one who introduced me to Pumpkinhead. You know, so thank you for showing Pumpkinhead some love.
I'm happy somebody else know about Pumpkinhead because it took forever to find people.
Yes.
Really?
People act like they don't know what it is, and I'm like, "Did you never have a TV as a child? Who are
They
your
play that all
parents?"
the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start saying that. Who are your parents over who over who raised you? Who are your parents? You know. What about you, Mike? What's your number 6?
Okay, number 6. Okay, I'm gonna go with. So we rented this as a kid. Rented Stephen King's It, and basically this is the moment with Georgie in the beginning, which I would argue in the 1990s version is better than the remake. But
controversy.
so Georgie's a little kid. He wants Bill, his brother, to make him a little paper sailboat. Okay, go off. That's fun, whatever for you. So he goes outside in the rain. He puts it in the street, and then the rainwater drags it on down to the sewer grate. And then, of course, he's upset about it. And then there's a fucking clown in the sewer. The clown, this little manipulative bitch, it knows how to like play into your desires and shit. And this little kid is getting just a fool, getting sucked up in it. And then he bites his motherfucking arm off. Bites it off.
Raw.
And I knew that was the movie for me when that started. In fact, there was another moment too with the little girl where Pennywise is behind the laundry that's hanging outside. You know how people used to do.
Yes.
And then you just see a shot of him smiling, and then he's like looking like really deranged in the next shot, and then the little girl's dead.
Yeah, pretty much anything. It just the way that Pennywise would treat them kids, would do them dirty. Like even with the remake, like I would just sit there and be like, "Yo, like," and you're taunting this kid who's lost their brother. Like this is fucked up, you know. And let us not even get into the novel, you know, with what happens in the novel. You know,
I've heard
so.
things. Yes,
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I've heard things as well. I'm just like, and we're still, yeah, Uncle Steven, as they say, Uncle Steven. You know, yeah, Bobby, what's your number 6, man?
Well, Mike took one of my picks, so because that was definitely one of them. But I'm going to go with Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. I'm gonna choose the scene when that kid had that mask on and it just melted his whole fucking face. It was so glorious. I loved it. You see all the buzz coming out, roaches, snakes, and just it was so intense. A lot of people have issues with that movie because obviously it's so different than the previous ones and the ones that came
Yes.
after. But I loved it for that because they were going in a different route, and I was so interested to see that this guy is saying, "Fuck these kids, I want to destroy them all." And what great way to do it is during Halloween with Halloween masks, you know? So I think it was iconic.
Yes. That whole countdown, you know,
Yes.
and the song, like after I watched the movie, that fucking song could not get out of my head. Like it was,
Days to Halloween.
Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
all right, here we go. Damn, Silver Shamrock. They needed to. That's the storyline that they needed to bring in Halloween Ends. It should have been Silver Shamrock, and Michael should have been an animatronic, you know, toy from the Shamrock collection, and I probably would have enjoyed Halloween Ends a little bit more.
We're not going to open up the Halloween Ends argument because, like, that's a strong argument. But I will say that opening was definitely 100% fuck them kids. They was like, "Goodbye, child," and I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
And we went nowhere after that, but still.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I agree. Yeah, I forgot that opening was "Fuck Them Kids." So yeah, that that made the "Fuck Them Kids" list. Halloween ends. There we go. So I it changes my rating. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit higher now. It's a 2 out of 5 now. It's a 2 out of 5. So let's go to number 5. Number 5. I'm gonna hit it with a little a little gem of a movie called Coraline, which I saw and I'm like, I love the animation. I didn't really know what I was getting into. I hadn't read anything up on it. And I'm watching it and I'm like, man, this is like really fucked up. And not just like there were a lot of creepy elements, but it was just like the the synopsis was just like, damn, this is really like terrifying, just the thought of this. Like, I would not want to be in Coraline's place. Like, I'd rather be fighting zombies in the apocalypse than be in that house with Coraline and her other parents. And I know a lot of people, they talk about the other mother, but for me, the part that freaked me the hell out was the other dad, when he was on the damn piano and his eyes and stuff just started popping out and I'm just like, yo, we doing a lot right now. We doing a lot right now. I don't know, it was just something very, very unsettling about that scene for me. It definitely made it a standout. And Coraline, definitely, there were a lot of elements that unsettled me, I would say. Very unsettling movie. Very unsettling movie, you know. So that was my number 5. Sharai, what would be your number 5?
I'm gonna bring Jurassic Park into this space because
Yes.
if you go to a field trip with your father or whoever it was, uncle, I don't remember, it's been a minute, to see dinosaurs, and you're all like, "Oh yeah, dinosaurs," and then dinosaurs get loose and start eating y'all, you are traumatized. You are traumatized. Them kids lived, but what kind of life do they have after this movie? Like,
I mean, ain't they back at the park or with him in another movie?
I dropped off because it wasn't getting better. But like that
Yeah.
first movie,
No, they never bring them back. I don't. Not even in this newest one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
they
wouldn't
didn't
come
bring
back
the
either if Chris
kids.
Pratt was gonna be there.
um yeah, I think it's definitely traumatizing, especially every few years they see it on the news again. It's like it's like seeing a certain person on CNN or whatever on the news again. You're like, damn, again, we still talking about this shit. We still dealing with this shit.
Like, imagine being them, and then it gets to the point where the dinosaurs are like amongst them in society, like how those two feel. Like, no, they could just be around the corner now.
They can't live in California because the first earthquake you triggered. Like there's no coming back from this moment.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And plus, if people have not read the book, I highly recommend reading the book because the book is more terrifying than the actual movie. It's like the book is a straight up horror film. It was required reading for me. I think in like 10th grade. So yeah, Jurassic Park. Shout out
Y'all
to
got to read Jurassic Park in school.
Yeah, I grew up in Sacramento, California, so I don't know what the fuck the curriculum was. Like it was that book, and it was another book. I forget the name of it, but it was about a little girl who her dad sold her for some rice, and she ended up becoming like a samurai or some shit.
I think I remember this book, but I don't remember the title. But that sounds familiar to me, actually. It's like Mulan, but darker.
Not even a
Yeah.
protein, just rice. Like just rice.
Typical stuff like that. The outsiders. Stay golden, pony boy. you know, stuff like that. That was our required reading. Um, What about you, Michael?
Um, let's see. Okay, I guess I could go for a more recent one. So I went to the movie theaters, and this was going to be a different experience because everybody had to shut the hell up. A Quiet Place. So, beginning opens with a banger. This family, they're walking through the city. They're going to like go to some, I guess it's a pharmacy or some shit. They're going to try to find supplies. Meanwhile, you could tell it's like some apocalyptic shit everywhere. And the little boy, he wants to take a toy, which is going to make noise because it has batteries. The parents are like, no, fuck that. And for some reason, the sister's like, no, you can have it. Here, take it. Take it with you. They all walk back. They leave the youngest child in the back of the line as they're walking back home. The kid starts playing with it. It makes a noise. And then something comes and slashes the fuck out of it from in the woods. While Jim from the office, he is trying to get the baby, but it's too late. It's too late. And that was an opener. Like that sets the tone for the movie. And then they have another damn baby. That's another thing.
You know how I feel about that because first off, y'all got to be quiet. You can't have babies when you got to be quiet. So also, they were going to the stores. They couldn't take care of that. They couldn't be like, let me get these pills or something real quick. They were just like, wonder what happens.
They should have left their ass at home. It's not like they weren't carrying that much shit back. So y'all could have left the kids at home, or one of the adults could have stayed with them.
Choices.
And then that kid got to be terrible too at some point. Like they could throw a tantrum, everybody dead.
Survival of the fittest.
It definitely can get taken there. It definitely can get taken there. What about you, Trent? What's your number 5?
I am gonna stick with our favorite problematic uncle Steven and go with Cujo. With and I don't know why I didn't remember this. They have a very great last name. Tad Trenton, which is my full name. But yeah, banger. It's been a while since I've watched the movie, but Dee Wallace, of course, is fantastic. I haven't read the book, but I've heard of the end, and I know that the end of the book is much better than the end of the movie. But I still like the movie. I grew up with it.
Yes. Another classic. Yeah. from Uncle Steven.
Now tell the truth. Would y'all have left that child in that car and left?
I'm embarrassed you even had to ask. Do you forget who I was?
I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Like I was scrolling the TikToks, and there were 3 people in a pool, and all of a sudden the alligator showed up. And it was a couple.
Pool?
It was a couple and their friend in the pool. The alligator jumps in the pool. Friend jumps out of the pool. The girlfriend, she's still in the pool. The boyfriend, he trying to get out of the pool. And I'm like, you know what? At that point, you ain't gonna be no good in the pool, man. So you might as well save yourself, get out, try and figure out what the fuck to do, because y'all both gonna be in there scraped up in that gator stomach, or the alligator, crocodile, whatever it is, y'all both gonna be devoured. So I feel like at some point you got to think about survival. Yeah. We got a Black Horror Survivor. The score to Halloween 3 kind of creeps me out to this day. Yes. We got Yutaka in the building. Thanks for stopping by. We got Clarnisha in the building. Yeah, I don't know why they thought another baby was a good idea. Facts. We got.
You see what happened to the last baby. Why would you do it again?
Listen. That's that. Yeah. I'm not. I was gonna say something, but I ain't even gonna go into that. But Alma Clark says killing that kid was a choice, but also would be first choice, but also why I blame him for getting eaten. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it was a stove situation, you told them not to touch the stove and they touched it. I mean, you didn't listen. You learned your lesson. This one just happened to be fatal, but
This
the
was
lesson.
this was the quiet game with high stakes, and he failed, and that's all there is to it.
I mean, there was something where it was like a baby got eaten, or no, it was in Pedagore. Wasn't it in Pedagore or something? Yeah, baby got eaten at the very end. I was like, yo, this is wild. This is wild. So, but I was like, oh, this added another level of danger to me. So, which I'm about. So, I, hey, you know, babies are free. Babies are free at most places before 3, but after that, you gotta pay. So, um. Bobby, what's your number 5, man?
Sorry, you cracking me up. I still can't get over the whole rice. I'm sorry.
That was a true story, man. I mean, I know it was probably culturally insensitive. I don't know why the hell we was reading that.
Wow. My number 5 pick is Pet Cemetery, Gage and Pet Cemetery. I remember watching it as a kid and being so freaked out. First of all, that whole movie is just creepy. The atmosphere of it all, just everything is dreadful. And then you get sad when he dies. He get hit by the truck, and then when he comes back and start fucking people up, I got my life. And he was talking shit while he was doing it. So yes, Gage, he got Judge out of here. He got his mama out of here. He was trying to get his daddy out of here, but it didn't work. But yes, Pet Cemetery is my 5th choice.
That was on my list, just so you know.
Ah.
Mr. I'm not a Gemini. We had the same one.
That's good. Well, Pet Cemetery. I knew somebody was gonna throw that in there. That's a classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
But have y'all read the book though? I just finished the book. Oh my goodness.
Really? So I have it, but I stopped. But so
See,
it's scary.
I love it. I love it. I feel like, well, obviously it's way more detailed, but the funeral scene alone is worth reading the book for.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I definitely got to check
you
it
said
out.
he got hit by the truck. He got smacked. Okay, he got dragged.
Obliterated. Yeah, that's gotta be a hurt piece, and he had to walk outside and look at that.
Yeah,
it
was sad.
Yeah, but entertaining. Sad but entertaining, Bobby.
Oh yeah, the whole movie was. I mean, come
on. Yes. Now, Kim, what's your number 5?
So I was gonna jump into my animation, but my mama reminded me of one. The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin. How you say his last name? You know the last name.
That was on my list.
That was my next one.
Listen, when I tell you I wouldn't have hesitated to just drop like all of that stuff, y'all wrestling, okay? As soon as we got over the cliff, drop. Like I wouldn't have even said anything. This child was a terror. Okay, he was Esther from Orphan before Esther came about. He was horrible. So no, I wouldn't have hesitated. My child just would have been done for. Forget them kids. Since my mama watching, forget them kids, okay?
Forget them kids.
Yes.
Forget them kids.
So
over the cliff and through the woods.
So also, where were they living for it to be like that? Like, what?
Right.
We just let our kids run wild out here when you got a whole cliff out there that's looking like that.
I mean,
so that's actually the only movie that as a kid I was watching it. That's the only movie I was watching it, and he came in. He was like, "Turn that shit off," and I was like,
"Yeah, he don't want you to get any ideas."
With her. So,
Wow.
Yeah, like she introduced me to the movie. Like, come look at this son. Come look at this movie. This son crazy. He crazy.
You see, I didn't see it for the first time until maybe like 4 years ago. So I was a full adult. And I was like, oh, Macaulay Culkin, this is gonna be a fun time, and it was not a fun time at
No.
all. It was a terrifying time. Um it I feel like it's one of those movies that are birth control. You have your
Oh yeah.
list of birth control movies, and I feel like that's one of them,
Yeah, because
so
it took him no time to switch up on his mama. Like, he didn't care. He
oh,
didn't care.
the way he was
That's why I
talking to
said
his sister.
Yeah.
that's why his ass got left home alone for 3 movies because he's not a fucking father.
That's it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was definitely a time, so now we on round 4. Sheree, what you got for round 4?
I'm bringing up Jamie Lloyd, Halloween 4 and 5, because it had to be continued. It was so much going on for that child. Literally.
Yes.
Can you imagine going out for Halloween and coming back traumatized, find out your uncle's a boogeyman who wants to kill you? and then you survive that ordeal to wake up in an asylum where you are so terrified you stop speaking, and Dr. Loomis is shaking you because he thinks you got answers. Like,
Right.
Jamie.
Dr. Loomis, the original fuck them kids. Like,
What did he ever do that worked? Like, it
it wasn't shooting him 7 times. That's for damn sure.
That's a great question.
I call him Dr. Useless for a reason. I'm just saying.
Him and his Inspector Gadget coat shaking the babies. I know, Michael.
That was a great choice. Shout out to Jamie. We need to definitely see her in a sequel. Bring her back from the multiverse. The Halloween verse.
Her
Bring
and
her
Kara, those two
No.
together would be great.
Who's that again?
So rude.
Bring back the son. I want to see Josh Hartnett somewhere in there.
Yes.
With
Does
a
she
new
even know
haircut.
she has an older brother? Does she even know?
Yeah.
To meet him because Michael came back for her. Jamie had 3 movies. Jamie Lloyd had 3 movies. 2, she was a child, and then the third one, she tried to have a kid, and Uncle Michael was like, "Ha bitch." And then Paul Rudd was like, "I guess this is my movie. I don't know." Like, no child has suffered more than Jamie Lloyd, hands down.
Yeah, and I think it would be dope to see like clips of best award-winning author LL Cool J, with his novels, like I would love to see like what came out of that. That'd be dope.
I want to see him and Busta Rhymes in the same Halloween movie. Like, how about that? I mean, they were both in the same timeline.
Yes. No, I agree. And Busta would be the guy who karate kicked Michael. That's his claim to fame. He'd be like, I bust Michael in the ass, right? I bust his ass, right?
Whenever people piss on Halloween Resurrection, I think of Busta karate chopping Michael Myers being like, "Halloween, motherfucker," and that's called cinema. That's why we go to the theaters. That's culture.
And Tyra Banks in there trying to be an actress.
She tried a lot of things. in the 90s.
Trying. She did. She tried it, literally.
Well, thank you, Sheree, for that one. I'm gonna hit you with my number 4. It's gonna be an episode of Tales from the Crypt called. Damn, I can't even read what the hell I wrote at this point, but it's an episode of Tales from the Crypt called Something Punishment. You can look that up, folks. It's Something Punishment, but it's the black episode, folks. The one with the old man, and he's the funeral director, and he has to take in his nephew, and he's annoyed. He's just like, oh, but I gotta teach you the business. And his nephew just wants to play ball, and he starts getting on his uncle's nerves. So his uncle decides what better to do. I got to handle this kid. Like, I'm going to paralyze him. I'm going to break his legs. So he ended up breaking the kid's legs, and the kid was hopping around on crutches. And I guess he ordered the wrong size, like, coffin, the wrong size pine box. So they get into it again, and his nephew's like, yo, I'm gonna tell everybody what you did to me. And he's like, all right, motherfucker, since you done ordered the wrong pine box, I'm gonna put your ass in the box. So he ends up, I think he throws a basketball at him, his nephew. Nephew falls, dies, and he was just right. He was just the right size to fit into that pine box, though. So he was like, sustainability, sustainability. So, so he puts him in the box. They have the funeral and everything, and then, of course, in Tales from the Crypt fashion, his nephew comes back from the grave, to do the same thing to him, and it didn't end up well for the uncle, to say the least, So that's going to be my number 4, that Tales from the Crypt episode. Something punishment fitting. Oh, because he fit in the pine box. Fitting punishment. Yes. That's gonna be my number 4. What about you, Trent? What's your number 4?
So I'm taking it back to the Disney Channel days again, and I am going with Don't Look Under the Bed. I loved this movie as a kid. I still remember the visuals. I don't remember much of the story, other than them getting snatched up in the bed, under the bed. But I remember the visuals, and it was so cool and so fun and creepy, but like that fun creepy, not like Coraline creepy, but like kind of like, oh, I want to go on this adventure. Snatch me under the bed. See what happens. Don't look at me like that, Sharai. You know I'm crazy.
That's a reality show. Snatch me under the bed.
And I'm your host, Trent. Who's getting snatched tonight?
Yes. I love. And what, that was a Disney movie? Okay.
It's a Disney Channel original movie.
Okay. I gotta write that one down as well.
If you're a true Disney fan, you would say Zoog movie.
Oh,
you got me.
Zoog. Yeah, I still, there was a Disney was a time, like, they gave us what Xenon,
Girl of the Future.
Girl of the Future. Zoom, zoom, zoom. You make my heart go boom, boom,
boom.
My supernova girl. Yeah.
Raven Simone up in there. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. What was that movie? Susie Q or Curly Sue?
Susie Q, yes,
Susie
with
Q.
Amy Jo Johnson.
Yes.
Where she dies and she goes back as a ghost.
Love it. Classics.
Halloween Town.
Yes. Halloween Town.
Mm-hmm. Halloween Town 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Fire.
Yes.
Now, what about you, Michael? What's your number 4, man?
Okay, let's see. Okay, so there is this 1980s stop motion claymation, movie called Adventures of Mark Twain. And it's this really fucking creepy shit. Like 3 kids on an adventure with Mark Twain flying some fucking way or some shit, child. Anyway, there's a scene where there's this door opening and then this figure emerges, and it's claymation. So it emerges from the clay and it doesn't have a head. its hand is holding a stick and there's a mask attached to the stick, and that's what it's talking out of. And you can see it emoting and everything and talking. And they ask it, what is it? And it says, I'm an angel. And then they say, what's your name? And it says Satan. And so they follow it into it's not, you can go on YouTube and look it up. It's everywhere. So you can, they follow it. They follow it in there. And they're like, what kind of name is that for an angel? And so they follow it in there, and then it asks them, what was your favorite fruit? They all tell them, and then it magically appears in their hand. They start eating it. Then it gives them clay, and it's like, go ahead and make some people. So they morph some people up with their clay. Some make kings, some make subjects. There's people with cows and shit. And then they start coming to life in their miniature, and they're living out like humans really would. So they're getting greedy. They're fighting over shit. And then the Satan is basically saying how it has disdain for humanity. We're greedy and blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, okay, well, how about we have a storm and some earthquakes? And so all the little miniature clay people start to die. They get crushed by the debris. The lightning electrocutes some of them. The poor cow falls into the crack in the ground. And then it's saying, don't worry, we can always create more people. And then it says something about life is nothing but an illusion or some shit. It has a very creepy voice. It's like 3 or 4 voices doubled on top of each other. They walk away, they run away. It's like a 7-minute clip out of the movie that you can find on YouTube. It is nuts. Watch it tonight before you go to sleep.
It seems like a lot.
It seems like a fever dream. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll check that out though.
The Adventures of Mark Twain.
The Adventures
put
of
it
Mark
on.
Twain. Okay. All right. I'm jotting that one down. Yes. Thank you for the recommendation, Mike. You know what about you, Bobby? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is The Queen of Black Magic, the remake. I chose that one because that movie low-key fucked me up, and that was definitely a fuck those kids moment. She did not care about any of those people in that orphanage. She got them all out of here on that school bus. We don't necessarily see what happened to them, but just seeing the look of them, you kind of figure what she did to them. But when these pretty much when they this family revisits this orphanage that they grew up in, there's a lot of secrets and stuff that happened there, and come to find out is this entity, Queen of Black Magic, and she comes back for revenge, and she starts to pretty much terrorize everybody, and she uses her black magic to torture them. She had bugs coming out their mouths. She's making them use broken glass for self-mutilation on themselves, and they're enjoying it. There's a lot going on in there. It's so good though. So yes, and all the kids get it as well. So that's a movie where she said not just the adults, the children get it. So yeah.
As they should.
Shout out to Indonesian horror,
So
killing the
good.
game.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Shudder.
Or you can go on Sloppy Second Sales. They got it on bootleg. I had to buy it on bootleg because I loved it so much. Because Shudder, y'all not releasing everything y'all supposed to be releasing.
Right.
So,
Wait, there's a website you can buy.
What you say it's called?
It's called Sloppy Seconds, and it's doing movies. Look,
what kind of movies we talking about here?
Sloppy Second Sales. I got Prey. I got Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3.
Are you sure this isn't porn? Because
No,
these all
All these titles sound sus. That's all I'm saying.
right.
No, I got they also got the remake and the original of Queen of Black Magic. They even got what was my favorite of last year? The Incantation. They got Incantation up there as well.
That fucking movie.
Yeah. So, sloppysecondSales.com.
How about you?
Wait,
it was like $9. The quality was good. Quality was good.
So that's where all the bootleg people from outside of Check Cash and Place when they started a website. And
Oh, Sloppy Second.
Yes.
In the barbershops.
Yes. We got
show
Mika.
merch needs-
Sloppy Second is great. See, she know.
that's the show merch. Sloppy Seconds. Look.
See, I thought Taymon was talking about the website, but I doubt he's talking about the website.
No.
All right. um, what about you, Kim? What's your number 4?
I'm gonna jump into animation, and I'm wrestling with them, but I'm gonna say Courage the Cowardly Dog, the Mask episode.
Yes.
The Mask. It was so extreme. Okay, like she just rolls up in the middle of their nowhere and just like dogs are evil and just proceeds to beat Courage to no end. I mean, just tearing him up. And Muriel, she always clueless, but like this time I feel like, girl, what are you doing here? What else? What else makes me? I mean, that's the main thing. It's just that Courage be. I feel like he's never gotten beaten that bad before, and to the point where we see him stay bruised up and stay all out of shape. Like I don't know. I didn't like that one.
It definitely was like like you could go several ways with that episode. Like I was actually reading, somebody did an article and like broke it down. I was like, damn, like this is what it was really about: abuse and people gaslighting you and
Yeah.
just neglect and all this stuff. It was like,
I mean, granted, what's her name? Her name was Kitty. Kitty had a hard life, but Kitty didn't have to. That wasn't Courage's fault. Kitty didn't have to come over there and do that to Courage. And then in the end, he still ended up like, let me reunite you guys. Let me make sure you guys get your love, even though I'm gonna be scarred for life. Like, I don't know. And plus, her mask overall was just creepy. It was just a creepy look and feel to it. So
yes,
that'll be that one for me.
yes. I love that. I love that. That's another. Courage the Cowardly Dog had so many classic episodes, so many. So I'm wondering if anybody will have any others in their list tonight. Because there's so many to choose from. We got Tommy, Black Horror Survivor. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yes, I remember that episode from Tales from the Crypt. It was so good. Yes, Tales from the Crypt. So many bomb episodes. So that was round 4. So we're going to get into round 3. And of course, I could not get through this list without talking about a movie that I've gotten shaded for so many times. A movie that's gotten shaded so many times. A movie that was shot in the shade, actually. Skinamarink is what I'm going to be talking about. There's a lot of choices, a lot of angles, a lot of ceilings, a lot of a
If I
lot
had a
of
lamp, I'd flash it on and off real quick.
a lot of walls, um, a lot of shadows, a lot of whispers. Um, there was a lot going on, but it was there was a certain, I don't know, it was just something about it because I was watching it late at night and I had the lights out. I turned on the blue light but then I was like, no, I needed pitch black in here. So I'm watching it. I got my headphones on. I'm the only one in here. I'm watching it. And it was so effective that when I got up and I go to bed and Jaleesa started talking to me, and I'm like, I need you to stop talking so low because they was talking low in the movie, and it's too much for me right now. It's too much. When you scared when you gotta cut a light on where you at, then you walk to the next spot, then you gotta cut the next light
Yeah,
on, and then cut the other one off.
yeah.
That's how Skinamarink had me. I ain't even gonna lie. um
I understand.
but there was a specific scene where one of the children, they were like or one of the demon entity, whatever the hell was in the dark, um told the kid to stab themselves in the eye. And then the kid ended up stabbing themselves in the eye. Like we don't see it, of course, because of Skinamarink, but there was screaming and then there was a phone call, because the kid stabbed themselves in the eye, So it was definitely uh it was definitely a shocker, and it again played on my fear of just being a kid and being in the total dark. And then I always had like this fear of like my parents being possessed by demons or whatever, because you're in the dark and you're just chilling, you're on the couch just watching TV with your parents chilling. But every once in a while, like my dad would just turn to me and be like, "Whoa," and I'm just like, don't tell me you possessed right now, so so yeah, it definitely Skinnamarink took me back to my childhood. I mean, it wasn't that extreme, of course, but yeah, it definitely unlocked some childhood fears of mine. So yes, if you have not experienced Skinnamarink, um I would say at least check it out once in the dark with some headphones on. Or I think girl that's scary, was it Jazz, she checked it out in the closet, she
That's
so
just nuts. Mm-mm.
you gotta
She's a trooper.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
If you
It's
got to do all
effective.
that to enjoy a movie, I'm just like, that's too
No, it
much.
adds to it. I'm telling you, the sounds with the headphone. If it's pitch black, because I had it on a computer, like on my chest, so even I'm like I can't make out what's behind the computer screen, and I had to turn it off. I couldn't even finish the end
Yo,
because it literally looked like the same area I would be looking at, like the direction, whatever the fuck the face was in the end. I was like, I'm turning it off. I can't even
my
finish.
heart my heart was beating at the end. I was sweating. I'm like, let me it's and I'm like, I want to finish this, but the whole time I'm thinking, why are these are kids, why are they going through this? And so that was giving me like emotional turmoil. Then the sounds were giving me emotional turmoil. I'm sweating and shit. I got anxiety and all this other shit. And this motherfucker whispering in the dark, talking about, I see you. I see you. And it was just like, it was too much. It was too much going on. So yeah, Skinnamarink.
Yeah, that was
Right.
a wild one. I
Yeah.
watched that at like 3 o'clock in the morning with these headphones on my TV, and it freaked me the fuck out. I said, I'm not watching that movie again. I don't even know how I stayed up to watch it though. It was like super late, but it worked.
Those are the best viewings. That's super
Yeah.
late. I saw Incantation in the dark like that, which was another.
Incantation's a movie that I support. Yes.
Yes. Incantation was, especially the symbols that they were throwing up on the screen. I was just like, come on, come on, Michael.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, don't do that. Now, Trent, what's your number? What's your number 3?
All right, my number 3, I have to go with the late, great, iconic Carol Ann from Poltergeist. The only real person that ever gets anything done to them in those movies are the kids. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Carol Ann is a legend.
I agree.
How many times did they say her name in the third movie? And she's being terrorized.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that third movie. Like the first one with the creepy old guy. I mean, the second one with the creepy old guy. I was just like, he needs a trilogy. Like, give him a remake.
Yeah.
Reboot him.
Nightmares. I got nightmares from that. What's his name? Kane or whatever. That
Kane,
scene when he's
Reverend
like,
Kane.
yeah, he's like walking in the rain, fucking singing. That freaked me the hell out.
Close the door in his damn face. Why are you even talking to him?
Yeah. Would y'all take candy from Kane?
No, I wouldn't even talk to Kane.
See, he's
pretend
probably
like I
an
didn't hear
angel
him
in
and keep
disguise.
walking.
See,
Angel in disguise.
you never know.
There we go.
Did you see part 3? He's not no damn angel. He's a demon.
I was gonna make a joke, but I know the actress is dead, so it's not tasteful. So let me know. I was gonna say maybe Carol Ann was not as innocent as we thought, but you never know. Why are they always after
Haunting.
her? Specifically her. What is her problem?
She's got
And you,
powers. That's what they tell you in the second one, which was
you
a
know
choice.
Yeah.
you're bad if your parents just pawn you off on the other family members.
For a
And
bag
if
of
y'all
rice.
deal with this shit, we leaving her ass alone.
For a bag of rice.
Listen, they were like, we've been haunted once. We don't want you no more. Go to your aunties.
Even she didn't want. She was like, I don't want her ass here either.
The girl got ghosts. She can't be here. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like, if it'd be one thing if a house is haunted, but for a person to be haunted, like, would I really want that motherfucker around me? That's a good thing. Like, I mean, that's a good question. That makes you think.
Now, see, I'm a take up from a girl, Carol Ann, because she didn't do anything. She just existed, and these ghosts, poltergeists, whatever you want to call them, started haunting her. And then in the second movie, we find out that somehow it's a choice, I know, but the family line is like charm sisters, and they all have magical powers. And grandma can talk to her from a phone after she's dead. Like Carol Ann didn't do anything wrong. She is an icon.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
it sounded like Paranormal Activity, and it sounded like fuck them kids. That's what it sounded like to me when you described that just now, Trent.
Them kids didn't do anything in Paranormal Activity either, but
And I didn't do anything, so I'm gonna leave them to the demons. Let them figure it out.
Well, I mean, that's an honest choice. I respect it. What about you, Kim? What would be your number 3?
There it is. Okay, I couldn't find my mute button. Number 3. I'm gonna say I'm bouncing around. I'm gonna do Rugrats. Rugrats. Okay.
Yes.
Listen, it's an episode where Chucky has this fever dream or something. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. It was all fun at first. Spike is talking. We're having a good time. And then all of a sudden, Tommy's there. And Chucky like, Tommy, what's up? What you doing here? He said, I'm not Tommy. And his face all distorted. When I tell you, I was done for. And then that was my first jump scare, right? You like, okay, cool. Wow, that's what a jump scare is. Nice. Get to the end of the episode. Chaz, Chucky Daddy, is just like, he had a little nightmare. He wake up, he go in the hall, he sees Stu in his house. First of all, why are you so calm that Stu is in your house in the middle of the night? He was like, Stu, I didn't know you were here. I'm not Stu. And oh my gosh.
Oh, hell no.
Perfection. Perfection. I love it. So yes, that's on my
So
list.
good. That was a good one. You took me back with that one. Even the episode when Chucky hit that monster, well, he thought it was a monster under his bed, but it was just a pile of clothes.
Yes.
That one freaked the hell out.
That was creepy too.
Yeah.
And it's
Rugrats
real.
goes there. Rugrats goes there.
Yes.
It's my favorite animation of all time. But and I love when they get spooky. And then even the remake got spooky, and they bought Pennywise in there. Just saying,
Wow.
it was beautiful. I'll
Oh,
send
now I
it
have
to you
to look
guys.
this
Don't worry
up.
about it. I got you.
Wow. Wow. Because I know they got them all on Paramount Plus, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check.
I watched the first season and I liked it.
Yeah.
I'll be feeling so ashamed. I'm like 30, almost 35 watching Rugrats, but so what?
It's worth it. It's okay.
It's our
okay. I'm right
childhood.
there
We
with
get to watch all of it. I don't care what the
Exactly.
people say.
Yes. Jaleesa says that Rugrats episode was creepy as fuck. Yes, it's cemented. That episode is definitely cemented. Now, what about you, Bobby? What's your number 3, man?
So we're gonna stay in the Nickelodeon world. I'm choosing Doug, A Nightmare on Jumbo Street. If y'all haven't seen this episode, pretty much everybody is in Doug's school, and they're talking about like the scary movie, whatever. And Doug finally goes to see it, and he closes his eyes at the very end because everybody says you have to see the ending. You have to see the ending. He ends up closing his eyes and missing the whole ending. So he's having these nightmares of what the ending could be, and then come to find out, he actually sees the ending. He thinks the movie's whack, and not so scary after all. But the whole like before like the ending, like the lead up to it was scary because when he would have these dreams, everything is distorted. He's walking through like the street and everything is just out of character. It's very freaky. So that episode was really, really like creepy as a kid. So y'all gotta check out A Nightmare on Jumbo Street.
Yes, and that's a lesson too, because I feel like
Hmm.
that's a lesson in fear. Like what we play in our mind is always more scarier, than what they can portray on the screen. That's why the book is always better, for
Yeah.
the most part.
I felt that way about it because when I watched the first mini series, I never watched the second part, so I never knew what happened. So Pennywise was always the scary, like clown in me. And then when I finally watched the second part and found out he was a fucking spider, I was just like, child. So yeah, I was Doug in that
Uh-huh.
situation.
Uh-huh. Now that's a great pick. What about you, Michael? What's your number 3?
Ooh, I am juggling some over here. I'm trying to. You know what? I'm okay. Now, Jumanji is not necessarily a horror movie, but I would argue in this scenario, realistically, you would be fucking terrified. So you have 2 kids, 2 adults, 2 of them who started playing as kids. And this game just brings every fucking obstacle you can possibly think. There's a fucking lion. There's monkeys in here. There's carnivorous plants that also shoot out like darts that paralyze you. There's alligators, tsunamis. There's so much shit going on in this movie. Actually, it is a classic. It's probably perfect. And that's all I have to say about that. If you're not seeing Jumanji and the actual one, not the newer one, check that out. Let the kids watch it. It's a great time.
It's on Tubi.
Wow. Tubi's stepping it up. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Tubi's that girl.
She is. We love her.
Jumanji's starting to sound more and more like real life, though. Like the more you were listening to stuff, I'm like, it's starting to
Especially
sound.
during the pandemic, child.
Yeah.
Roll a 5 to stay alive.
Listen, if y'all look, Tyrone, you're from Philly, and I'm not too sure if you guys heard of the lantern flies. Some shit we never heard of before that
Bruh.
was fucking up the city. Yeah, that was some shit from Jumanji.
Bruh. That I
Google
was
it,
like,
please.
I was like, y'all just not gonna tell me these things were like sleeping for how many years, 100
Right.
years, and then they
Never seen
just
them.
everywhere.
In my 35 years, never seen them.
And you step on them, they don't die. Like you had to literally, like, yeah, Sharai. I don't know if y'all had lantern flies out there, but we had these things. They were everywhere. They were literally everywhere. It was like a swarm for like a summer and a half, and it just was. You tried to. They would jump. And it was like they would jump, and if you tried to step on it, it still wouldn't die. If you stepped on it, it would jump.
And they'll fly into you. Like one smack me in my head, and they don't care.
Like, I'm happy we had this talk because I've always said I might move to Philly someday. I will not be moving to Philly someday. Y'all can keep them. I'm gonna not go to Philly. I'm not even gonna visit in the summer. I'll see y'all in the winter.
I have Googled and they are real.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Somebody read from the 3rd book, or and Unleashed the Lantern Flies, the 3rd the Necronomicon, and released the Lantern Flies. It was not a cool summer at all.
It was rough.
Yeah. What about you, Sharai? What was your number 3?
I'm gonna talk about Mr. John Connor because at least 2, 3, 4 of them Terminator movies came out when we were children. I don't know anymore because there's like 19 of them, but I know enough of the story came out to where this poor boy was haunted before he was even conceived. They was after his mama to be like, you thinking about having a baby and we want to kill you just because. And then like she has him and he's grown up and knowing that they're coming from him for the future. What do you do with that as a child? Knowing people from the future coming to kill you any day. Don't trust nobody.
And that that nobody in current times can really fuck with. Like you can't go to the cops.
No.
You can't go to your uncle who got all the military arsenal. Like who you gonna go to?
And you already know that if you survive, you're gonna be living in a post-apocalyptic world, and you gotta lead the people against the robots who tried to kill you in utero. I don't want that. I would just be like, take me to the king. Let me go. Let me out.
Imagine being a lazy person and you find this shit out.
No, no, no.
I can't even schedule shit. You want me to lead like a rebellion against machinery and shit?
I
We're
cried. I think I
done.
put on a shirt for the night, so I know I would not do well in that environment.
I mean, I feel like in that setting, you really couldn't like do your normal thing, like binge, your regular shows, or just go out for a drink. Like you'd really have to be planning for war
How do you
all the
even
time.
sleep? Like you don't know what time they're coming after you.
Can you imagine trying to learn algebra and shit, knowing you have the fate of humankind on your shoulders? Like,
But I don't know. I feel like you could get Chat GPT or whatever the hell that is, to get everything done for you. Like we're almost there. We're almost there. Skynet is here, folks. Skynet is here. And yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, Have fun. Have fun now. Have fun now. Um but we made it to round 2, folks. Made it to round 2. So my number 2, I'm going to say number 2. I'm going to actually, this was a wild one because I did bring this up in a previous discussion, but I feel like it pertains to this one as well. The movie Dr. Giggles, whom I, I'm sure everyone hasn't seen yet, but they just did re-release it on Blu-ray, so it's on Amazon for purchase. But it's Crazy Doctor, and he's just got this giggle, and he's giggling all the time, and he is just it's chaotic, it's camp, it's cheesy, and there's this scene where it's like a flashback of him growing up and his dad is a doctor and he wants to be so much like his dad, and his dad's bad shit too. So they go and they're about to lock up his dad, and he's like, I gotta hide my son. So he kills the wife and then uh hides the son inside the wife. And then there's a scene where where
Is this like
he's
reverse birth?
where there's a scene where a child erupts out of this corpse that's a woman, and he's just like, and I think he's got like a scalpel in his hand because that's what he used, that's the tool that he used to get out. So yeah. Dr. Giggles, that's my number 2. For and it's not necessarily children's horror, but it had a child in there, so I think I understood the assignment somewhat.
Sounds like
Yeah.
more birth control. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one. Now, what about you, Sharai? What's your number 2?
my number 2, I'm bringing in the changeling. Like, we don't even know how the little boy died for most of the movie. He just a little boy who's upset because he died, obviously, and you feel bad because he did die, and he's haunting this man who's grieving his family who just died on a weird like roadside accident, and so like it's just all this coming together. And at the end of the movie, you find out that it was white man shenanigans, and I'm like, this little boy deserves retribution. This little boy deserves justice. Get him out of there.
Yes. I love that you brought up the changeling because it's that whole idea just like it creeps me the hell out. It creeps me the hell out. You know?
It's bad enough being haunted, but to be haunted by children, like you like the monster no matter what you do. Like what you gonna do? Have them come over and clear your house of the dead children? Like there's no winning. There's no winning.
And I would assume that dead children are more energetic than dead adults, so
If you think
yeah.
living children are loud and messy, what you think a dead kid gonna do when they got no repercussions? You can't time them out. You can't take away their cell phones. They're like, fuck you, and
And,
knocking your drinks over and breaking shit.
and the lease is signed already, Sheree. The lease is signed already. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You
I wish my landlords would accept this place is haunted. I gotta leave as an excuse.
know. I think that that should be in the clause, a haunting clause. If it's haunted, then we got to get I have the right to vacate. I have the right to
That's
vacate.
perfect. That should be it. They have to spend a night in the house to prove it. And then once it's proven, you don't have to pay nothing. You can just get out of the lease.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's fair.
Oh yeah. I think so. I think so. Especially in an age now of we're more paranormally aware than we've ever been. So I feel that. I feel that. What about you, Bobby? Oh, your sound, Bobby.
Sorry, I'm drunk. Um, had too much wine. So yes, I'm going with because Mike took my it pick. So I'm going with the I'm going with it chapter 2, the newer one, and I'm going with two scenes where Pennywise fucked up two children. One of them was the little boy inside the mirror house. That scene was intense. When I think Bill was just trying to, get him out, and Pennywise come up licking the window, and then he's like banging his head repeatedly, just banging it, cracking it, and then eventually he just munched the little boy, and all the blood just splattered onto the glass. That was a good one. And then also with the little girl going underneath the bleachers during like the game. Which is I think that's the same little girl from Firestarter and American Horror Story double feature. Can't stand her, but she was great in this. Um,
Yes.
but he ate her ass too. So
I'm counting these
yes.
Gemini strays just so you know.
Oh
man. But
well,
yes, I go with those two in the movie.
yeah, that was a great choice. Especially like I love the Bills Skarsgård one. Like he really did his thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean I love Tim Curry as well, but I feel like for me personally, even though it's controversial, I think I enjoyed the remake a little bit more, the
Yeah.
reboot, whatever you may have.
Yeah.
Now what about you, Kim? What would be your number two?
My number 2 is the the Luna Ghost from Scooby Doo. Okay, I love him.
Yes.
I love him. I feel like what an opening to the best live action ever. Um, I mean, I can't get over him. He like a clown, but he flies, and I mean, all over perfection. So
Yes. Yes, I saw your post earlier.
yeah, I thought about it,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I'm giving away one of my things. But I do. I think he's so good. He's so good and terrifying. And I mean, I feel like you going in there, and I saw that in the theaters, and so like you going in there to see it, and you're like, hey, this is Scooby Doo, and you start out that strong. Come on now,
Mm-hmm.
the kids weren't
Mm-hmm.
ready. I wasn't ready.
No, they weren't. They weren't. I I think I went and I remember my experience seeing the live action Scooby Doo.
Mhm.
I was late to the movie actually. I was like an hour late, and then I ended up going to the counter and like, can I catch the next showing? And they were cool enough to let me catch the next showing. So I
That's good. You
saw.
just jump right into Spooky Island, no warm up, no nothing.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I was like, damn, they already in action. Like, what's going on? But it was
Perfect.
definitely a time. It was definitely a time. Yes. Mark says, Dr. Giggles is a classic. Yes, thank you for joining us, Mark. And Chrissy Scott, thank you for joining us, Chrissy. We breaking the lease. The haunted kids can have the house. She also says, best live action Scooby Doo. Yes, yes. We're due for another one. I feel like with technology the way it is right now, we're due for another. We just need a great script, a great script,
Yes.
and we're due for another one. Take it away from Mindy Kaling. We we due for another one. What what about you, Michael? What's your number two?
Um, you know what? I'm just gonna go with Troll 2. Yeah, Bobby, Troll 2. I said it. So this boy is, first of all, he has a dead grandfather who apparently also has magical powers and can do shit and is guiding him and trying to protect him from goblins when they go. His family does like a vacation exchange with the goblin family, and they're in town. These goblins are trying to eat them. They're trying to feed them shit that's going to turn them into plants. And it's so he's trying to protect his family. Like, no, he's pissing on the food so they don't eat it. And then his grandfather comes and he tries to protect them again. But the end is what fucked me up, because the end, they think they survived, and it's him and his mama in the house. She's like, I'm gonna go wash my ass because we've been doing a lot of shit right now the last few days. So she goes to the shower and he's hearing whispering and shit. And so he's noticing his mom isn't anywhere around. So he's running around the house screaming, looking for her. She's not in the bathroom, but when he looks in the shower, there's green shit all in the tub. So now he's really freaking out. And then he gets to the kitchen, and then you hear eating. You hear all the goblins are eating his mother on the table, and you see her turning his plant and his plant breast and everything, and they tearing his mother up. And he's like, they eating my mother, and they turn to him. It was freaky as fuck when I first saw this movie. It is good. Go watch Troll 2. Go buy it. It's on Amazon. It's not too expensive. It is a classic.
Well, thank you for that one.
Did I get a little excited? I think I did. Wait.
Yeah, it was I definitely got to check it out now. It's just some interesting imagery, because I haven't seen, like we said, like when you hear something and you don't have the visual, like you picture it in your mind. So maybe it's worse in my mind than it'll be on the screen. But just plant. Did you say plant breasts?
Yes, you can make out the breasts where they were. It makes sense. I think.
This baby traumatized. He's gonna need something stronger than therapy.
You know what? Troll 2 is. I will say I used to be obsessed with that movie when I was young, just because of just how campy and crazy it is. But I think everybody should watch it. I give Michael a hard time about that movie, but it's a good time.
It's a watch party.
Yeah, I know that's one of Mike's movies that he goes up for. So I definitely got to check it out at least once. Give it that good old spin. Give it that good old spin.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I'm telling you.
Yes. Well, look, the letterbox don't lie. So I'm gonna give it my honest letterbox, my honest letterbox review.
Please.
And I ain't gonna look at the scores before. I'm gonna just watch it and then
don't believe them. Just don't believe the scores.
Give my honest review. What about you, Trent? What's your number 2, man?
So for my number 2, I'm digging into the Goosebumps vault for one of my favorites as a kid, A Night in Terror Tower.
Yes.
So as I said earlier, I'm still a huge fan. Was a huge fan of like super dark fantasy stuff, and so this one, the kids are in like a field trip, I want to say, and they go to this old medieval like tower, and they get stuck in there, and they like have to stay the night, but it time travels them all the way back to like the Dark Ages, and there's like the dungeons and torture and like all that shit they were trying to do back then. It's super fun. It's a good vibe, and I love me some dark fantasy.
Yes. I distinctly remember that one. That was one of my favorites, growing up, one of my favorites. They've got so many classic episodes, so many classic ones. It's some that still hit to this day, Now we've made it to our number ones, it took us a time. We've been through the mud. It's been a lot of fuck them kids. Like the kids were not safe this episode, ladies and gentlemen, at all. The kids were not safe. So we're gonna go with Bobby. What's your number one, man?
Again, this is obviously in no particular order. It was all scrambled up. But what I have left is Trick or Treat, the school bus massacre scene, which was crazy. You know what I mean? They're telling the story about these poor kids that died in the school bus due to this bus driver, and then these zombie kids come back for revenge and start fucking everybody up. And you don't see what happens, but it's applied what happens to them, which is great. So yes, that trick or treat scene with the kids, chef's kiss. The whole movie is great, but that scene was good.
Yes, I agree. Trick or Treat is definitely a classic. If you have not seen it yet, folks, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's definitely up there. It's definitely up
Yes.
there. What about you, Mike? What would be your number one,
Well, Bobby appears to have gotten his revenge that was on my list. So I'll be going to an alternate.
man?
I'm going to go with Jaws because it taps into a few fears of mine, the ocean and sea creatures, because they shouldn't exist. And this boy, people at the beach, everybody's at the beach, they're having a good time. They're like jumping in the water and shit. His mother's like, your hands are pruny, but go back in for a little bit. It's fine. He takes his little ass on this float and goes far out there, as far as I'm concerned. And, you see the perspective from the shark coming closer and closer. And then when they show the shot, it's not funny. But all you see is just chaos in the background and blood coming out of the water and shit. I would have lost my mind. It is terrifying. Maybe why I don't like the ocean, I don't know. I don't remember when I first saw Jaws, but it's a fucked up situation. Again, they should not exist. I'm sorry for that boy and his mama, but yeah, that's my number one moment.
Okay.
And fuck that mayor too. He kept the beach open. It should have been closed.
I respect it because the mayor should have closed the damn beach. It's just greed and arrogance. Greed and arrogance. And yeah, Jaws. It was a time. Definitely was a time in history. Now Trent, what was your number one, man?
My number one is going to go to the original. I liked the remake, but the original Roald Dahl classic, The Witches. This is a classic. Angelica Houston is fantastic as the Grand High Witch. A little boy gets turned into a mouse. I mean, that's terrifying when you think about it. Number one, mice are scary, but also being a mouse is scarier, probably.
Yeah, especially in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're trying to eat kids as a child. That's scary.
And they weren't
Classic.
normal witches. Like they look like, just ugh.
And I just love that they were like a bunch of seemingly just a bunch of women at a conference, and then they take their masks off and it's this like grotesque, like huge nose and like ears fall off, and it's just it's now as an adult it's super fun, but as a child I was like, they just pulled their face off. What do I do with this in my life?
And that intro story, crazy scary. When that girl's stuck in the painting.
Oh yeah, shit! I did forget about that. She was stuck in the painting. Damn.
They snatched her up and put her right in that painting.
Yeah, we had a hell of a like childhood. Like, yeah, one hell of a we had a hell of a childhood.
Kids today don't know, man. I'm just saying. They don't know. That's why they're remaking all our stuff, because like can't compete.
You're not lying.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go with my number one. Um, I'm gonna go with uh I'm gonna go with Are You Afraid of the Dark? An episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? This is an episode starring America's favorite twins, T and Tamara, you know, and the chameleon, bite. I forgot how the shit go, but it's like bite
Sister,
your
sister.
yeah, sister, bite you twice, pay the price,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Can I just say they weren't chameleons? Those were fucking iguanas. They
I
just
was
sit
gonna
there.
say the same thing. They weren't even chameleons.
Right.
Ridiculous.
damn. Now that I think about it, like they weren't chameleons, they were iguanas. Damn.
We lived in a less informed time. I'm going to give them a pass.
They
We
said
did not
this
have
worked good
Wikipedia.
enough. They know what I mean.
But yeah, when I first saw it, it creeped me out, especially seeing Tia and Tamara in that type of setting, in that light, creeped me all the way out. But just the concept, because I had two. I never had iguanas or chameleons, but I did have two skinks. That's what they were called,
What the
skinks.
fuck is a skink? What? I
It's
just
a
explained that.
lizard, girl. It's a lizard.
It's called a skink.
Get your mind out the gutter.
I was like, what was going on in your house? First off, that's a different episode.
No, I just
It
thought
was-
about a clip when Janet Jackson was doing her documentary and she was talking about she had two cock feathers and she said big black cocks on her eyes. And she's like, that's what they call them. They call it. I'm like, Janet, please stop. Stop.
I mean, I'm happy for her, but like, did we need to know that?
For what she's charging for that tour, like there should be some things we'll talk about.
She's queen. She allowed to charge that much.
But yeah, they were skinks, they're lizards, I had to feed them crickets, which was funny because as a kid, even as an adult, I don't like bugs on me. I don't like dirt on me. So like when you pop the top, the crickets would climb out. And so one day they was like, feed the skinks, and I'm like, shit, I gotta do this. And next thing I know, the crickets is everywhere. All of them, like one of them got out, jumped on my hand. Next thing I know, the crickets is everywhere. We gotta buy some more crickets. They pissed off at me. I'm like, y'all should have known better. You should have known.
I'm mad y'all was sacrificing the crickets to skinks, so you had to buy these fucking bugs.
You should have released the skinks to go hunt them down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a movie called Skinks. I don't know what it's about yet. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Sadly, I was a bad owner at that time, and I think one of them died in like the lamp sun, and then the other one died with their head in the water. Like they just like put their head in the water. Like yeah.
You killed two skinks.
Yeah. I've never admitted that before, but
Sharai, if
Yeah.
you don't stop.
Them skinks ain't done nothing wrong.
What do you mean in
For
head
some
in
rice?
the water?
like
For skinks.
like if they were just I guess like I guess he got tired of the shit. He just got tired of everything, so he was just like, just put my head in the water and end it.
Just end it all. Just,
Yeah.
Not a sad skink.
As Sharai says, take me to the king.
Oh,
Rest in peace, J and K.
oh,
Yeah, I named them after Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Rest in peace, J and K. Yeah. Skink Heaven. So Sharai, you're number one.
I'm sorry. I gotta recover from skink heaven.
Skink paradise.
Skink heaven. I my number one is Reagan from The Exorcist, because can you imagine being the child of a single mother who's a celebrity? So you should be living your best life, but instead you play shenanigans and come up with a imaginary friend named Howdy who possesses you. And so now you're running around pissing yourself in old school nightgowns and levitating. Like,
Yeah.
she lived, but what's the quality of life after that? How you come back from that?
And
like,
doing some things with a crucifix.
listen.
You said some things to the priest, you know.
Also, you got two priests dead outside your window. You are not making friends in high school.
So what happened to her in the second movie? Because I didn't watch that.
I couldn't get through it.
I saw some of the second movie. It's really bad, so I stopped. Lovely pantsuits. Like, if you like fashion, beautiful.
Oh no, they end up taking her back. They end up taking her back to the house, and the house
it's like
earthquake happens, and the house blows up or something.
I didn't make it that far. She was going to see this person who was like hooking her up to the machine to be like, I remember being possessed, but I won't put on the makeup no more. And I'm like, girl. But beautiful pantsuits. And then I stopped watching it and said less on Twitter.
James Earl Jones is in it, and I'm like, why are you in this movie? Yeah, he plays like this cricket locust king person or whatever. It made no fucking sense.
Oh, I thought you said Star Jones.
No. I would
watch that movie. I want to watch that one.
Yes.
This new Exorcist they got coming. Someone write them and tell them to put Star Jones in this.
Them sequels pull stars. Because, like, the third one has Brad Dourif, but it's a police procedural. So I was watching it, but I don't know what happened because it's a police procedural. I'm not trying to retain that.
I respect it. I did hear that the new one, the screeners aren't doing that good. So hopefully they figure something out, before it's released.
I mean, it's David Gordon Green who gave us the new Halloween trilogy. So we all have one eye
now look,
open.
y'all gonna stop with this Halloween and slander. Y'all
listen.
We're not talking about that movie.
Once you see Mikey get beat up by his new boyfriend and jacked for his mask, the franchise gotta die.
It gotta go.
You can't go nowhere from there.
The franchise dies tonight. The franchise dies tonight.
And that's what happened.
Point. It was supposed to be ending.
No, but like the boy who got hunted by band kids, the whole movie was like, nah, Mikey, I want this mask. And we're supposed to just go with that.
And you got Michael Frell in the fucking sewer, just like child.
And then he show up to get his mask back, and he get taken down by Jamie Lee Curtis's new Laurie Strode, who's not even, she's not there. She's like, I got an ice tray, take this. And he's like, oh no.
Now here's the whole refrigerator.
He's like, not a new placemat. Oh, Mary Martha Stewart.
We will discuss this further.
Now, what about you, Kim? What's your number one?
You already know my number one is my favorite villain of all time, him from the Pop-Up Girls.
Yes.
Specifically, hold on, because I just got excited. Specifically, the Speed Demon episode, which I think is where we meet him. Okay, so the girls is racing home from school. They jump into a whole different time loop situation. The citizens of Townsville is now zombie-looking people, and they all blaming them for Townsville turning into this way. My favorite part about it is that they beat the mess out of him. Okay, they tear him up. They breathe in hard. They put all their effort into that. And do you know this man sat up and was like, "Are you finished?" I said,
"Queen."
You just say that to my.
You took the words right out my mouth. I was about to say that.
Like, it's in that moment. I remember the first time I seen it. Back to my old question, you asked me, what would I like to see again for the first time? That moment, I was terrified. I was like, they just gave it their all. And he has not broken a sweat. He's fine. Also, I've read somewhere, and then I went back and watched all the episodes with him to make sure it was true. They never beat that man.
Oh, wow.
That thing. They just, they like run. this time in Speed Demon, they flew up in the air and then sped again and flew, and then eventually they got away from him, but they never beat him. And that's also where we first seen him in his full-on devil form. I mean, his legs stretched out, his arms stretched out. He became this huge demon thing. It's terrifying. Perfection.
I think him is the embodiment of student loans, and that's why they beat him.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Okay. I love him.
At this point, I'm just like, student loans is they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. You know,
They're the only things that will survive a nuclear holocaust. Student loans.
Amen.
I stopped opening my emails because I'm just like, who are you talking to? I don't like your tone. You're not getting this money. I don't have it. You did what
Throw
you
them all
did.
in the folder. Hide the folder.
Listen, talking about professors. I didn't learn nothing. I want a refund from them too. Like, leave me out of the conversation.
Not a refund.
no, why did they write me a handwritten letter? It came in the mail around my birthday. I'm like, oh, who this card from? This is nice. Open it up. It's Sally
Surprise.
Mae.
No way.
Sally Mae. Crazy. But yes, that concludes our list, ladies and gentlemen. I have one question for everybody. You know, since this was, you know, we talked about the children, you know, and we all have children in our lives in some capacity, you know. So what film would you recommend to the children today? You know, if it was one film that you could recommend to the kids to really scare them, you know, what film would it be that you would recommend to the children? You know, and I'm going to start it off. I think I would go with Case 39. I would recommend that one to the children. I think that it's a fine introduction. It starts off pretty fucked up because I'm like you really don't know what's going on. You just know that these are the most horrible parents in the world for leaving their kid in the oven. You know, like what's going, what did they do? What did she do? You know, so but then we find out what she did, and by the end you're like, oh yeah, I would have put her ass in the oven too, you know, but I would have chained it up, or you know, kept at least blockaded it up. Like who snitched and told who called CPS to the who called Child Protective Services to the house, you know, because we gotta get rid of this demon, you know. So I would introduce Case 39 to the children. That would be my pick. Trent, what would you introduce to the children?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. There's been so many good ones. I'm gonna go with the classic because kids need to be exposed to the classics at very young ages. I'm gonna go with Jaws.
Okay. I like it. It's a classic.
Well, because if I want to go, I don't foresee this ever happening. But if I did want to go to the beach, I want them kids to be away from it. So if I make them watch Jaws, maybe they'll stay at home.
Yeah, they're not going to ask you to take them. They're going to be like, oh, Jaws in the water. Jaws in the water.
Mm-hmm.
God, I see. I connected.
There you go.
The road.
You're with me.
Yes. Yes. What about you, Ken? What would you choose for the kids?
Coraline would be my choice. Yes. It's perfect for them. It's creepy, but it's still light, kind of. It's animated.
Yes.
Perfect. Between that and Monsters Inc., but I'm thinking Coraline would be my choice.
Yes, Coraline, perfect choice. Mm-hmm. You know, what about you, Sharai?
I would probably go with Malignant because if that don't tell you to be nice to your siblings, I don't know what does. Kayla Cooper was just like, be nice to your siblings or else. Plus it's ACAB, which is an important message.
Sheray's all for fucking up the kids. She's like,
look how I turned out. It'll be fine.
Little well, you know what? I think Gravity would be happy about more children in the world excited about Malignant, you know. So yeah. Yeah, Malignant is a good choice. Good choice. What about you, Michael? What would be your choice for the kids?
I want them to realize how good they have it. So I'm gonna go with Flowers in the Attic because you would rather deal with me than some crazy grandmother bitch and eating poison donuts or whatever the fuck that shit was. You stay here and deal with the bullshit I got going on.
I almost choked, just so you're aware. You almost killed me on air.
Bobby, what?
That's like somebody saying "Mommy Dearest."
No wire hangers. Learn how to listen.
Okay, so is that supposed to be a comedy? Because I really did laugh when she choked the shit out of her and hopped on her.
I think it's supposed to be like high camp, and it is high camp. I quote that movie all the time. This isn't my first rodeo.
Yes.
Fuck with me, fellas.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark, I said it. Flowers in the Attic.
I respect it though, Michael. I respect it. Flowers in the Attic. For the children. For the children.
Okay.
Bobby, what would be your choice?
I mean, I can't beat that. But I'm gonna just go with The Witches.
Okay.
Why not? It's a good gateway horror. It's scary enough to fuck up a child mentally. And maybe respect your elders.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with The Witches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I respect that one. I like that. I think that's a good gateway. That's a good gateway. I was interested to see like what movies would actually be shown, like because I know Kim, she has a background in education, so with the children. So I'm like, are any of these movies would they pass? Kim, besides Coraline.
Well, we know Flowers in the Attic.
The Witches, I would do The Witches. I don't know about the others. I would show Jaws. I talk about Jaws a lot. So yeah, Jaws passes.
I think Jaws, it's got, not to like 3-year-olds, but 8-year-olds can watch it.
They can.
I also brought in Fear Street 1978, which I thought was PG-13, but it's not because the way they get it in the end.
I do enjoy that though. Yes. That is good.
That last moment where they just like, we're gonna cut them kids. It was the epitome of fuck them kids. I was like, this has been 9 years. These sounds are gross. Can we stop?
No, we can't. We cannot.
Best part of the trilogy.
I appreciate it. I did. Like, I mean, R.L. Stein said, y'all said y'all wanted something a little spicy. You said I need to step my game up.
Mm-hmm.
Proof.
There we go. There we go. But thank y'all once again, for rocking with me and breaking down this list. It's been a lot of fun, getting to pick your brains through the lens of horror, and also getting to talk about my skinks again, because I haven't talked about them in a while, so childhood trauma. But yeah, it's we made it through. We made it through. Thank each and every one of y'all. We had Nightmare on Fear Street joining us tonight. We had Sharai and Trent. If y'all not subscribed and checking their podcasts out, everything they got going on, make sure you do. The links will be in the description, at the bottom. Also check out People Under the Scares. We got the amazing podcast People Under the Scares. We got Michael and Bobby in the building. They're doing some amazing things as well. Make sure you check out what they got going out. Make sure you follow them. Everybody here is talented. Everybody here is talented. And of course, last but not least, we got Auntie Spooky in the building. We got Kem Bones in the building. Thank you for coming out. It was awesome, chopping it up about children's horror and not children's horror, but just children in horror settings. Yeah, just to see where people's brains and things went, and just to see it's like a glimpse. It's like a glimpse into what they think would be safe for children to digest, because I know, like, my nephew, he's 1 right now, and like I was watching, I think it was Child's Play 5 and 6. I think the Cult of Chucky and the Curse of Chucky. He's seen both of those. So, I don't know if he's retained them, but he's seen both of those with me, because this little dude would not go to sleep. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna watch Chucky. We gonna watch Chucky back to back until your ass fall asleep. Yeah, it was a time. It was a time.
Show him 3 and tell him that's what goes on in military school.
Yeah, three was definitely a special in a little boy's heart. 3 was definitely special in a little boy's heart. But yes, and also thank you to the chat for rocking out with us tonight. We had Tamon Kane, Alma Clark, Ashley. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. We had Mark stop by, Chrissy. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Utaka, Cray Dre. We had Mika show up. Jaleesa. We had Dahlia stopping by. Thank you. Thank you. If I missed you, I apologize, everybody, for stopping by, for showing some love tonight. Jaquan, Rainbow. Thank you for stopping by. Alex, thank you for stopping by. But that's been another episode of Evil Live. That's been another discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we'll be having another discussion. 80s. We're going into the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. So, we'll definitely be a time. Definitely be a time. But yes, and as always, peace, love, and horror, ladies and gentlemen. And we're out.